Hello, table family. It's Yolanda. It's Monday. It's time for another episode of Eat. I was just thinking that I love the connection of how the acronym EAT can stand for everybody at the table, and then the table and the dine well. And honestly, my entire vision is connected to this conversations, great chats with a great meal. And that's just kind of how it worked out. I just love how God works those things out for you. I am here, another rested weekend. I hope your weekend was rested as well. One of the things that I did to rest well was finish watching With Love Megan on Netflix. If you have not seen it, I encourage you to watch it. It's a phenomenal, whimsical aside to dreaming what your world could be if you had this amazing backdrop that Megan shoots the show in. But it's a great, relaxing binge. And as I was watching it, I was on LinkedIn this week, I saw a comment regarding the show, and it got me to thinking. Meghan Markle, or Meghan of Sussex, as she kindly reminds us in her new Netflix series, With Love Meghan, has been the center of a lot of social media chatter lately since the launch of her show. From the moment the world was introduced to her as Prince Harry's fiancée, Meghan has been scrutinized for reasons that are quite honestly layered in race, gender, nationality, and class. She's American, she's biracial, white European and African American descent. She was divorced, she was independent, she had her own career, and she didn't fit the traditional mold of British royalty. So when she and Prince Harry left their roles as working royals and moved to the US and then exposed what they experienced within that system of the crown, it shook people, especially those who wanted to hold tight to a sanitized image of the royal family. And ever since then, Meghan has been heavily and unfairly critiqued. Lately, it's come back up again with her new Netflix series, which I personally think is beautiful. It's serene, it's soft, lifestyle-centered content. She's cooking, she's gardening, she's harvesting honey from her beehives, she's hosting friends and learning recipes across culture. It's wholesome. It's her lane. It's what she enjoys. But this week, I came across a LinkedIn post where someone asked, "Isn't this weird?" I realized this person didn't understand how she could go from royal life and her humanitarian efforts to homemaking content, as if the two can't coexist, as if she's not allowed to express joy or shift lanes. But here's the thing. This isn't new to Meghan. Before she was a duchess, before she was married to Harry, Meghan ran a lifestyle blog. She's always cared about home, beauty, health, food, and culture. So this really isn't a pivot. It's more of a return to who she is. But the criticism got me thinking, why do we box people in like this? Why do we assume the way we first met someone is the only way they can show up in the world? Why do we get uncomfortable when someone grows or shows another side of themselves? Reinvention is not weird. It's human. Some of the most successful people we know have reinvented themselves. Last week, I talked about Michelle Obama and how she's reclaiming her black girlness in this season of her life. She started off as a corporate lawyer and a hospital administrator. Then she became First Lady and is now a best-selling author, podcast host, and a global thought leader. In her prior worlds, she couldn't wear her braids, but now she's able to wear her braids, and I wouldn't say she's reinventing, she's reclaiming herself and she's doing it on her own terms. But the person we met didn't wear box braids. Think about Rihanna. She left music and built an empire. So many of her fans are waiting on her to do another album. But Rihanna is a billionaire with Fenty Beauty and her Savage line. She's making billionaire moves and people are still holding out for this album. She's moved on. I don't know if she'll make music again because that's in her fabric. But if she doesn't, she has every right to stand in the person and the woman that she is today. And then there are so many others who've just reinvented themselves. You know them in your own life, and you know them because you are they. You are them. You're reinventing your life. So many of us have moved on. We're doing things differently. You probably don't even practice in your degree field if you went to college. You're just changed with life, and that's okay. And giving people permission to do that is freeing for you and for them. And you get to see people in a new way and embrace them in their different form. And that, y'all, it's amazing. It's the stakes of table building. People evolve, people change. And most of us are trying to figure it out, how to do this, how to live more fully, how to live our truth, especially once we've survived the pressure to conform. So why is it that when someone like Megan shows up with something softer or something slower or something more joyful, we act confused? This is especially frustrating for me as a woman of color. It's especially frustrating for me when someone sees or doesn't want or is afraid for me to pivot. It's their uncomfortability that becomes the center versus my joy in what I'm doing in the present. She chose peace over performance. And for me, that's liberating. For me, that's stake building. This episode hits home for me because I've been on my own journey of evolution. Some people know me as a preacher. Some people know me as a corporate executive. Others know me from my work in DEI or philanthropy or travel. And now this podcast. And I get it. Some people might be asking, why is she doing a podcast? My answer, why the hell not? Who said I have to stay in one lane forever? At 57, I've learned there are things I want to do. There are things I've always wanted to do. There are things I've done that I no longer do. They don't serve me in this season of my life. And all of that is okay. I'm not defined by any one chapter of my story. We need to get comfortable letting people be more than one thing. If you're going to invite people to your table or build a table where everybody belongs, then you better make room for the full version of who they are or who they may be, not just the version you've known or feel comfortable with. So as you see people shifting, evolving, taking risks, or showing up differently, pause before you critique. Ask yourself, why does this make you uncomfortable? What box have I put them in? Because at the end of the day, people are allowed to grow. Reinvention is not betrayal. It's permission. Let's keep the table wide enough for people to change. Thanks as always for listening. You know me, hit the comments with your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking. And more importantly, let me know what your plans of reinvention are. Where are you? What are you thinking about doing that's completely different than what you are now, or just something you're going to do that you haven't done before? It's a joy to dream. It is exhilarating to act in a way that you've dreamed of doing or being. As always, until next time, take care and dine well.